So today's presentation is gain new customers and reduce costs with RACO Interactive's Package Delivery Solution. And again, I'm Larry Sherman, the Solutions Architect. So basically, the old obligatory about RACO. We were founded in 1988, so obviously we're not a new organization. We're based in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have offices throughout the United States. We're an integrator of handheld and wireless mobility solutions, obviously package delivery and tracking, mobile field service, typically it tends to be an inspection type application, a GPS fleet tracking, yard management, custom development. We write things like Meals on Wheels deliveries, professional services, and we also have a core competency in wireless data services. And again, as Woody had discussed, please type any questions into the question box and we will address those at the end of the presentation. So package delivery, track your packages like the big boys without the big boy costs. That's kind of our tagline. And we designed the system basically around how the big boys operate. So it is a complete web-based solution that tracks the movement of the packages from the pickup request to final delivery. Basically, there's three main features of the package delivery solution. The first one we'll talk about now is the administrative or the inward-facing web application, where you as the data administrator can manage your customer list, package exception codes. Example would be not home, left next door. Package types, this could be a pallet, an envelope, a box. Your routes, service codes, types of services, vehicles, and users. A type of service could be same-day service, overnight, second day, or ground. These are all we would consider configurable so the software matches your needs and uses the nomenclature that your drivers and customers are accustomed to. Another aspect of the inward-facing web application is the dispatch. So the dispatcher can pick orders, will be displayed on the dispatch screen where they can be assigned to the appropriate route or driver. Order can be added to the driver's list and available to transfer to the device through a wireless interface. A third aspect of the inward-facing web application is the view and print reports. So we show all the transactions for specified date ranges by transaction, customer, pickup location, route, delivery location, undelivered packages, exception reports, and I'm sure there's many there that I didn't name. So again, this is the inward-facing web interface, which is basically designed for administrative tools and for the dispatch to manage the package delivery. The next part of the third piece of the puzzle would be what we call the customer or outward-facing web application. This is where your customer would schedule their pickups. They would log into our website, which typically we have embedded into your website, and that site can either be hosted on your server or hosted on a third-party box. The customer then selects the delivery address from a drop-down or adds new. They select the pickup address, the service type, again, overnight, next day, the time the shipment will be ready, the weight, the type, and automatically print its own tracking label on an attached laser printer on their own network. So now, another of the features of the outward-facing web application is the pickups. So they can also be defined or predetermined pickups or locations. So what we mean by that is scheduled routes can take place. So you don't have to necessarily have a customer schedule a pickup. It could just be Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and that's when you typically make that pickup location or delivery. And that could be built into the system as well. Third part, obviously, from the outward-facing customer application is the tracking. So like the big boys, you can enter the tracking number, and you can see the history and current status of the package. And there on the right kind of gives you an idea of how it looks and how it feels. Again, trying to replicate as much of the known standards in the industry, which has been obviously pre-established by those said companies. The third part, obviously, is the mobile application. So the features of the Intermec CN51 mobile application, obviously, you can perform the pickups. You can load the trucks. You can unload the trucks. You can unload to a depot, unload to a different vehicle, and obviously you can complete the delivery process. We can capture signatures on screen. As you can see, we actually flip the signature around so that the handheld doesn't have to leave the driver's hands. They present it to the signee, and they sign on the signature right there in front of you. We can take pictures of possibly damaged goods, or we can take pictures of packages really left at the delivery location. We actually have a client who does that. He takes a picture of their door with the package and sends that via email to the account So the person can not only see the package is there, but they actually see a picture of the package at their door. Seems kind of extreme, but it was part of their service requirement and something we were able to provide. Also on the handheld, we keep the inventory on a screen so you know what packages remain on the truck. Our application allows you to connect via Wi-Fi, connect via wireless wide area network, basically GSM, CDMA, known as a cell phone. We also support store and forward, which means the device will contain the information until it's connected to a computer, currently only supported in the Windows mobile version only. We also integrate the GPS coordinates with the RACO Interactive and GPS tracking system. A couple of customers are using the system, one of which is a customer called Black Horse Carriers. Black Horse provides service, parts delivery services for some of the largest automotive makers in the world. An example of what Black Horse does is they deliver parts for, let's call them BM Volkswagen. So as BM Volkswagen has a centralized distribution center, let's say located in Chicago, all the orders that are processed during the day by the service departments, various service centers throughout a regional area are processed, and at the end of the day, about 5 o'clock, all those orders are processed and sent to the system where basically about 6 o'clock the drivers appear. The orders are being picked and put into large metal cages. They are then picked up, loaded on the trucks in obviously loaded order in sequence. The driver would leave Chicago, drive over the turnpike over to, say, Toledo, to Detroit, to Cleveland, down 71 to Columbus, again, down 71 to Cincinnati, back up 70 to Dayton, across 70 to Indianapolis, back up 65 and appear back at the Black Horse terminal or at the BM Volkswagen terminal in the evening, and they then would return that same process the next day. So basically what they do is they deliver overnight deliveries to auto dealerships. They've been a RACO Intermec customer since 2009. On our website, you'll see a Black Horse Carrier video case study at www.racointeractive.com. Currently, you're using both the Intermec CN50s and the CN70s. The delivery information is transferred to us, to our system via EDI, and then we integrate that to a package delivery solution. Again, we discussed these are dedicated and scheduled routes, so they occur then obviously on a scheduled basis. Another of our customers uses our system. It's a company called Associated Couriers, and they specialize in nuclear medicine, dedicated service and customers in a healthier society. What Associated Couriers has are basically specially lead-lined vehicles, both trucks and vans, that pick up these specially designed nuclear medicines, and they transfer these things securely and deliver these to various medical facilities across the United States. Again, their service level agreement is to deliver to medical providers. They've been a RACO and Intermec customer since 2012, currently using the Intermec CN70s. The delivery information is received via web services from the medical manufacturer of the drugs, and then it is integrated in the package delivery solution. And they want more dynamic routes because obviously these are delivered to locations based on the need of that medicine to be at a location at a particular time. Unique business model, but again, something that we were able to accommodate very well with our current system and provide then back to their end customer electronic information to fulfill their request that the products have been delivered on time. You can imagine nuclear medicines become very specific to the customer and the client, and the tracking of that particular product is obviously essential and very critical. Been a good customer of ours, and look forward to a long relationship with them. One of the things we're able to do now is that we now can integrate package delivery with the RACO Interactive fleet tracking. To do that, we can either take both the Intermec CN51 Android version, which we talked about later, and also the Windows Mobile version. The product must be connected via a wireless wide area network, obviously known as a cell phone. It allows us, I believe, to better leverage your investment in what we call now the smartphone technology. Again, just a reminder, if you have any questions, feel free to type those into the question box, and we will address those as we can after the presentation. So talking about the advantage of GPS tracking, now that we've got the package delivered and we fulfilled that side of the business, how are we doing with the inside of the business? So with the advantages of GPS tracking now, we can improve the visibility of your fleet of vehicles, assets, and people. So we now have real-time fleet visibility and real-time alerts. Alert would be a speed alert. For instance, your vehicle has your company's name on the side, and they're traveling at inappropriate speed. You will be emailed over your smartphone or into an email account of that particular occurrence, and they'll be documented, and then you can actually deal with it in your own way. Also supports geofencing and landmarks. We'll show you an example of that here in a minute. It has a very intuitive dashboard, which allows you basically to get into our platform and learn how to use some of these GPS tracking features. It also supports things like a breadcrumb trail, which basically this here is a breadcrumb trail, which is nothing but a history of a vehicle through a period of time. Also helps you when it comes to providing rendered services. So if somebody wants to say, hey, was my package delivered at a point in time at a particular location, you can use the particular GPS technology, go back, find that moment in time, and then show your client exactly where that product or service was rendered. It also provides effective routing, and I have an example of that upcoming, and there's lots of reports, and I have a brief example of that as well. So basically, what are some of the benefits of GPS tracking for package delivery? We believe that enhanced customer service is an integral part of GPS tracking. Having real-time visibility pretty much allows your dispatch, to choose, to be able to answer questions over the phone very quickly about where's my package or where's my service, as well as allows you to be able to optimize the routing of your particular services. Example would be that a new package scheduled pickup is entered to the dispatch. Dispatch can go into the GPS tracking platform, type in the appropriate address for the service, the appropriate vehicle or vehicle type required, hit enter, and it'll then display on the screen the vehicles in your fleet and how far they are from the particular location, and allows then your dispatcher to dispatch the most appropriate vehicle for the most appropriate location. Utilization, the asset utilization of gas and time becomes a very, very integral part of how you manage your network and manage your fleet. So again, that's one of the benefits we see of GPS tracking, this specifically in package delivery, is obviously an enhanced customer service and the ability for your dispatch to choose the most appropriate vehicle as rapidly as possible to render that service for you. Another example, I believe, is into the area of reports and better documentation. What I have here on the screen here is a detailed geofence entry and exit report. One of our large clients delivers automotive parts, and they deliver automotive parts in this particular area in the Dallas and Houston, Texas area. And you can see on the right-hand side in the report, it details in rather granularly the information on exactly where Chuck was. And you can actually kind of see, that on 11/18/2013, he was at Lute Riley Honda in Richardson, Texas for 43 minutes. He then traveled for 1 hour and 1 minute to Classic Mazda Dodge in Denton. He was on that site for 23 minutes, traveled 2 minutes, right, probably across the street in an auto mall type environment, Tubman Kia Chrysler Jeep in Denton. And again, obviously you can see as he traveled through the day, this is the type of report that we can generate out of our system based on the ability for us to now grab GPS coordinates, from the smartphone device, either Android or Windows Mobile. Again, we have many, many other reports that can provide you. There's state reports, there's detailed reports on driver performance, and again, once we, if you're interested in the platform, we can provide, a one-on-one demo or presentation demo. I want to turn over to Joe a little bit and have him talk about the new exciting Intermec CN51. Joe is Joe DeWenter. He is the product manager of the particular product. And Joe, I'd like to turn the presentation over to you.
Thanks, Larry. And again, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Joe DeWenter, and I'm going to give you a brief introduction on the CN51, a very exciting new mobile computer in the Intermec by Honeywell product portfolio. As a reminder, again, if you have any questions, please just type them in the box on the panel on the right side of your display, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. Next slide, please. I'm going to start out by talking about operating systems because that's been a top-of-mind topic for most of our customers for the past couple of years. And As a result, it's been the central theme with the planning and the design of the CN51. As you know, most of the current rugged handheld computers are running Windows Mobile or Windows Embedded Handheld. But Microsoft has recently announced they're phasing out support for these OSs over time. And these older OSs can't take advantage of the newer hardware designs, like larger amounts of RAM or these dual-core multi-engine processing architectures. Microsoft has more recently announced their new Windows Embedded 8 handheld OS, but it's still months away and it'll require a rewrite of applications. So it's not a simple port from existing Windows Mobile and Windows Embedded Handheld applications. At the same time, smartphones running Android and Apple's iOS have been very popular with their rich graphical user interfaces and many useful applications. And users are asking why they can't have those same types of capabilities on their work device. We believe that with Ice Cream Sandwich, which is Android 4.0, and now Jelly Bean, which is Android 4.1, Android has become a viable alternative for enterprise mission-critical applications. They've added support for more security, support for third-party mobile device management applications. So it's beginning to look like a real enterprise-ready type of OS. Going forward, we believe that operating system fragmentation will become a reality, that there won't be just one OS that all companies will use with their rugged mobile computers like we've seen in the past. Fortunately, Microsoft does plan to support Windows Embedded Handheld 6.5 into the 2020 calendar year, and we think that this OS, the Windows Embedded Handheld 6.5, together with the HTML5 browser, provide a bridge which gives customers time to determine what new OS is best for them. Next slide, please. The CN51 then is the first product to offer both the Microsoft Windows Embedded Handheld 6.5 and Android 4.1 operating systems as options. Customers can choose either OS with the CN51 from the start. In addition, customers can choose Windows Embedded Handheld 6.5 and continue to run their existing applications written for that OS, add HTML5 applications for new functionality and capabilities, and then convert their CN51 to Android 4.1 at their location sometime in the future should they choose to switch to Android. Next slide, please. In terms of where is the CN51 targeted, it's targeted directly towards field mobility applications like transportation and logistics or direct store delivery or field service. Next slide, please. In terms of durability, we refer to it as a mid-tier product characterized by a 5-foot drop to concrete spec and 1,000 tumbles from a half meter. So in the Intermec by Honeywell portfolio, you know, we've got smaller, lighter, less rugged products like the CS40. There are also a little bit larger, more rugged products like the CN70. And the CN51, if you're familiar with our existing CN50, is targeted right in the middle, and we refer to it, as I said, as a mid-tier product. Next slide, please. So in addition to the two OS options, one of the first things that you'll notice is the very rich colors, 4-inch wide VGA display, and the full-size keypad, either QWERTY or numeric. The touch panel is resistive, which is normal for a rugged handheld, meaning that you can activate it when it's wet or use a common plastic type stylus with it, or or activate it when you're wearing gloves. What's different is we've combined the multi-touch capability with that resistive technology, so that if you're looking at a map or a picture, you can use your thumb and forefinger to zoom in like you would with your smartphone. All of the internal system architecture is the latest. It's a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core multi-engine processing architecture. For the wide area radio, it is software defined, meaning that you can switch from one network, for example AT&T, to another network like Verizon or Sprint or back, just by running a simple utility on the device, and it supports both voice and data. It's not just a data wide area radio. We have two imager options. Both of them are very good with the snappiness and motion tolerance, which means that it's very easy for someone to read a barcode the first time, which is really important for overall productivity, especially if you're scanning a lot of barcodes during the day, but also just end user frustration, rather than having to redo it or try to capture it 2 or 3 times. They know with confidence that they can get that barcode the first time. The other point I'd like to talk about on this slide is, again, if you're familiar with our existing CN50, the CN51 is compatible with all of the CN50's accessories. So for existing installations of CN50s looking to invest in a new hardware refresh, you can reuse all of your existing accessories. Next slide, please. And that's it for, again, very brief introduction for the CN51. At this point, I'd like to turn it back to Woody for questions that you might have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joe, and thank you, Larry. I've got a couple more questions for you guys, but before I do that, a reminder to those of you who are still interested in asking a question, there still is time. You can type that in the question box on the GoToWebinar screen. If you just type your questions in there, I'll be able to see them and ask our panelists. The first question here is for Larry. Larry, how real-time or how often does the GPS platform refresh to show you the driver's location?
That's a good question, Woody. Basically, we have the ability to configure it for a ping every 1 minute or every 2 minutes based on a service level agreement that we commit to. Pricing varies based on the use of data, very slight difference, but yeah, one minute or every 2 minutes, so basically virtually real time. So by the time you log in the platform, it should be pretty virtual and pretty much able to provide you the information you're looking for.
All right, another question. Can your driver do both scheduled routes pickups and receive newly scheduled pickups for dispatch?
The answer again is yes. The person can be out there doing their traditional route, and if a pickup is scheduled through dispatch, dispatch can send that to the existing driver and add that to the list of locations and deliveries for that particular requirement.
All right, Joe, I have a couple questions for you here. What operating systems does the CN51 use?
There are 2 options that are available. The one that's most common with existing rugged handheld computers out there today is the Windows embedded handheld 6.5. Very compatible with the older Windows Mobile 6.1, for example. Customers that maybe had started out with Windows Mobile 6.1, very easy port to Windows Embedded Handheld 6.5, and then Android 4.1, which is known as Jelly Bean. So that is a very different OS, much more, and again, as you just think of smartphones running Android, typically very display-centric types of applications on Android, but both of those options are available, and the good thing for customers is that it's very easy. you know, they have a huge investment in existing Windows embedded handheld applications. Those will port very easily to the CN51, but then down the road, if they'd like to switch to Android, they can, and they don't have to send the unit back to us. It's about a 15-minute process of just reloading the OS on the CN51 that they can do at their location, and now the CN51 is an Android device. So two different OSs. Thank you.
And Joe, I've got one more for you. What is different about the CN51 display and touch panel?
Good question. Again, and this probably applies or someone that's used to using a smartphone. All of the smartphones out there today, and you know, a lot of folks have them, and you get used to, you know, zooming in using the thumb and forefinger, the multi-touch capability. But all of the smartphones out there use capacitive technology. And what that means is if they get wet, they don't work. And it's similar to the touchpad on your notebook if you have a notebook computer. You know, put a drop of water on it and then try to move the mouse, and you can't. I dry it up right away then, but so it doesn't hurt anything. But so capacitive touch panels require either your finger, the flesh of your finger, or a special stylus. The CN51 continues the use of the resistive technology, again, which is common in most of the rugged handhelds out there today, where you can be wearing a glove like most drivers delivering packages do to protect their hands, or like when they're going to capture a signature. It's very rare that I see a driver, and when I've done ride-alongs, have the original stylus that came with the unit. More often than not, they're pulling their ballpoint pen out of their pocket and handing it to the customer to sign the display. Well, you can't do that with a capacitive technology. And then to the resistive technology, we added that multi-touch functionality. Our feeling was someone that has had the Android experience on a smartphone should not have any other or lesser expectations with their work device. And so we wanted to make sure that we made that experience as comparable as we could to commercial smartphones. Thank you.
All right, Larry, I got a couple of server-related questions for you. The first one is, what are the server specifications for the package tracking solution?
Yeah, another good question. We call it a server more from the standpoint we want it treated and backed up. It's really nothing but a glorified desktop. The requirements are pretty much, you know, what you'd find in any product you would buy in some locations. Again, the server definition is more that it has to be backed up like you would treat a server as opposed to a desktop. I do have the specifics on the size of memory, processor, operating system, and I can provide that in written form to anybody who is looking to purchase on the right side of the box.
And can this be cloud-based, or does it have to be on a server? And if it is on the server, does that need to be purchased as well?
Yeah, as this earlier, it is a web-based application. It can be hosted on your own environment. And again, our software basically we embed a link onto your website. So when a customer logs into your website, they'll have an icon that says schedule a pickup, and that will launch out to the particular site that either you host or we host. They'll schedule that pickup, and that will be sent back internally into the website, into the dispatch screen. Same thing as on the track your package. There'll be an icon on your website that allows the customer to go and hit a track a package, and you know, just like the big boys, you can then take your tracking number, type it into the box, or copy it into the box in many cases, and they'll give you your detailed status of where that particular package will be at any particular time. And that screen looks pretty much like that, where you basically type in the event and it gives you the event. Matter of fact, even tracks exactly when the pickup was scheduled, which would be the time that you actually scheduled that particular pickup off the website.
Okay, Joe, I have another CN51 question for you. What development tools are available for Windows and Android devices on the CN51?
Good question. There's a whole host of when you're talking about the Windows, Windows Mobile and now Windows Embedded Handheld have been around for a long time, and typically companies like Intermec and Honeywell have developed toolkits to help developers fine-tune their applications to the specific hardware. So Intermec has a complete suite of applications available, SDKs for developers to design their applications. Android is a little bit different in the sense that it started out life as a commercial product, and so pretty much any of the commercially available development tools that are out there for Android, and there are a lot of them, apply to our implementation of Android on the CN51. The core Android OS comes from Google, and then the part that companies like Intermec add are those that software that's needed to drive things like the integrated barcode scanner or the capability to talk with some of the rugged printers that are out there, and those kinds of things. So again, on the Android side, lots of commercially available third-party tools available. On the Windows side, a whole host of software development kits that we, Intermec, provide.
Okay, I wanted to give one more reminder. If you did have a question, type it into the question box. It looks like we've got a couple more left, so if you want to get in your questions to Joe or Larry, now is the time. Speaking of devices like the CN51, Larry, a question for you about hardware. Can devices like this be leased?
Absolutely. We do work with a technology leasing company. It provides the ability to do a technology lease. We are also capable of leasing 25% of soft costs. So actually the web courier package solution can be leased as well as part of a technology lease program. Hey Joe, I got a question for you. The keyboard on the CN51 Android I think is really nice for the users because I think one of the reasons the BlackBerry hung around so long was the keypad. Do you think that the users will find a keypad very useful in Android, where in the past it's pretty much been the swipe type environment?
Absolutely, and so yeah, when you think about it, certain applications lend themselves more, to a keypad-centric data entry as opposed to display-centric. And our feeling from the beginning was we needed to support both and give customers the option. Certainly, with older OSs, more of the applications were keypad-centric. But going forward, also with Android in the enterprise type of deployment environments, yeah, there is a real use for using keys, whether it be a QWERTY keypad or a numeric, especially what I've seen in the transportation and logistics or courier express parcel types of applications. That it's just easier for many people. So yeah, and our feeling
gloves especially.
With gloves especially, yeah, yep, yeah, good question.
Sorry, Woody, I had to ask a question.
Hey, if you got the question, you might as well ask it. One more here is how much, you mentioned GPS tracking earlier, Larry, how much additional cost would it be to add that feature?
If you already equip the device with a data plan or a voice or data plan, we would be leveraging an existing data plan, and we use very, very little data. So there would be no increased cost for the actual data, but there is an increased cost of accessing our platform. And for a device like this, I think it's in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 cents a day for 20 work days to access our platform and do the real-time tracking. I can get that down to specifics and get you a particular quote, but I think the numbers we looked at, it was in the neighborhood of 60 cents a day.
And finally, if someone's interested in seeing a little bit more personalized version, a demo of the fleet tracking software, how can they go about that, Larry?
They can go out to RACOinteractive.com, which is www.RACOinteractive.com, and there is a schedule a demo on the GPS tracking platform. And then we will reach out to you and do a brief conference call to discuss, maybe your specific requirements. And then when we do the presentation, during that presentation, we can point out some areas in the platform that can hopefully address those needs and help you run your business a little better.
All right. Well, if there are no further questions, we've come to the end of the presentation. Thank you all for your participation in today's event. If you'd like more information on complete business solutions like package delivery, or if you have any questions about any Intermec devices, please contact us. You can call Product Specialist here. You can call us at 1-800-446-1991. You can see Larry's extension right there, 1377. And obviously, I think Joe with joe.DeWenter@intermec.com, we'd be happy to take any specific questions that you'd have. Again, thank you all very much for attending. Joe, Larry, thank you for the information. And everyone, have a great day.